What's up, interweb? Today we're going to, this is a review of what we did Wednesday the 8th. First of all, we're going to go over the distributive property of multiplication. Very, very important. So if we have 3 times 2a plus 5. Now the parenthesis makes this one number. This is one number. So we're going to multiply 3 times everything inside here. 3 times 2a and 3 times 5. 3 times 2a is 6a. 3 times 5, don't forget the plus in here, is 15. There's nothing else we can do here. These are not like terms. Okay, so what if we have negative 5 open 4b minus 3. Again, now we're going to multiply the negative 5, not just the 5, but the negative 5 times all of the terms inside of the parenthesis. So we negative 5 times 4b, a negative times a positive is a negative 20b, and negative 5 times a negative 3, negative times a negative is a positive 15, I think. Okay, it's pretty simple and straightforward there. Now what if we have two binomials? Binomial means, bi means two, nomial means number. So what if we have 3a plus 5 times 2a plus 4. Okay. Now we're going to multiply this number. Remember, when it's in parentheses, it makes it one number. So we're going to multiply. First, we're going to take the 3a, and we're going to multiply it by everything over here. 3a times 2a is 6a squared. A times a, remember when we're multiplying and we have the same base number, we add the exponents. The exponent there is 1. We just don't write it. Now 3a times 4 is a plus 12a. And now we finish with that one. Now we do the same thing with the 5. 5 times everything over here. 5 times 2a is 10a. Don't forget the, again, don't forget the plus. And 5 times 4 is 20. Middle two terms are common. If these variables here are the same, then the middle two terms, the linear terms it's called, they will be the same. So we get 6a squared, 12a's and 10a's, what is it, 22? 22a plus 20. Nothing else we can do. Okay, let's do another one of those. These are very, very important. Now let's use some negative numbers. Negative 2b minus 3 times negative 4b minus 5. Same thing. First we're going to start off with the 2b and multiply it by everything over here. First of all, negative times a negative is a positive 8b squared. Okay, b times b, b squared. A negative 2b times a negative 5. Again, negative times a negative is a positive 10b. And negative 3 times negative 4. Negative times a negative is a positive 12b. Negative 3 times negative 5 is a positive 15. And again, the middle two terms are common. So we get 8b squared plus 22b plus 15. Okay? Okay. Now the next part of this is factoring. What we're going to do is we're going to take this trinomial, 3 numbers, and we're going to move it back to its component parts there, its factors. So if we have this, so if we have this, if we have, sorry, if we have a squared plus 8a plus 15. Now what we want to do is we want to find the factors of 15 that combine together and add to 8. Okay? What are the factors of 15? 1 times 15, 3 times 5, and I think that's all. So which two of these add together to give us 8? 3 and 5. So we have a plus 3 times a plus 5. Now let's do the distributive property here to make sure that it goes back to this. A times a squared, a times 5 plus 5a. Now we do the same thing with the 3. 3 times a is 3a, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now you can see what we're doing here is we're adding these two linear terms together, the two middle terms, adding them together to give us the 8. So we have a squared plus 8a plus 15. Okay, now what we did was we took the factors of 15 that added together, which is what we did here, to give us 8. Okay. B squared plus 13b plus 30. Now we want to factor this. We're going to take the factors of 30. 1 times 30, 2 times 15. Now we want to find the two factors that added together to give us 13. 3 times 10 and 5 times 6. Now which two add together to give us 13? 3 and 10. So we have b plus 3 times b plus 10. And that's the factorization of that. Okay. Okay. All the terms in here were positive. So if all the terms are positive, O-S-I-T-I-V. In other words, x squared plus x plus some constant. If everything is positive, all the terms are positive, it's going to look like this: x plus c, c is just some constant, some number, and x plus c. Now, if the linear term is this one. This is the linear term. If the linear term is negative, and the constant is positive, then the factors are going to look like this: x minus the constant and x minus the constant. Because remember, when we're doing distributive property, the last thing we do before we combine like terms is we multiply this times this. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that's what this is going to look like. Now, if the constant is negative, then it's going to look like this. If the constant, the number at the end, if that's negative, then it's going to have to be x plus some constant and x minus some constant. Okay? Okay. So let's do another one. A squared plus 9a plus 14. Now we want the factors of 14 that combine together. Now we know that everything in here is positive, so we know it's going to be a plus something and a plus something. Now what are the factors of 14 that combine together to give us 9? 1 times 14, 2 times 7, I think that's all. 2 and 7 are the ones that add up to 9, so 2, 7. Okay. Now, if the linear term's negative, d squared minus 8d, okay, this one's negative, and this one's positive. Okay, remember the last thing we do, when we're doing distributive property is the last numbers, the constants multiplied by themselves. So we have d minus something and d minus something. Now what are the factors of 15 that add up to negative 8? Negative 1 times negative 15, negative 3 times a negative 5. That's it there, isn't it? Negative 3, negative 5. Mm-hmm. Okay? Linear term's negative, the constant's positive, so we know it's going to be x minus something and x minus something. Now we want the factors of 36 that add together to give us negative 13, so negative 1. We know that the two factors are going to be negative, so we do negative 1 times negative 36, negative 2 times a negative 18, negative 3 times negative 12, negative 4 times negative 9, negative 6 times negative 6. Now negative 4 and negative 9 give us negative 13. So our two factors are going to be 4 and 9. Okay? Okay, now if the constant's negative, remember the last thing we do is multiply the two constants together. So we go, one of them has to be positive and the other one has to be negative. So we want the factors of negative 30 that combine together. Really can't say add here, we're going to combine them together. That will give us negative 1. So negative 1 times 30, negative 2 times 15, negative 3 times 10, or negative 5 times 6. Now if you add these together, you're going to get a positive 1. Or it's 1 times negative 30, 2 times negative 15, 3 times negative 10, and 5 times negative 6. If you add these two together, you get negative 1, which is what we want here. So remember, you have to make sure you get the right one with the right sign here. Positive 5 and negative 6. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what if we have this? Negative 39 plus 10g plus g squared. And we always want these in this form. Ax squared plus bx plus c. The quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant. So we want to put this in the correct order. G squared plus 10g minus 39. Now we know that the constant is negative, so it's going to be g plus some number and g minus some number. But we want the two that add together or combine together to give us a positive 10. So negative 39, we have negative 1 times 39, negative 3 times 13. There it is there, isn't it? We don't have to go any further. Negative 3 and 13. Now, if you want to double check yourself, a real quick way of doing this is 13 times negative 3 is a negative 39. Exactly right. Because remember, we're going to, last thing we do when we do distributive property is this times this. And then add them together, combine these two together. 13 minus 3 is 10. Okay? And if they can't be factored, if we have h squared plus 10h minus 30, this is an h. We want the factors of negative 30 and add together to give us 10, negative 30. Okay, we know that this needs to be a positive number, so we're going to start out with negative 1 times 30, negative 2 times 15, negative 3 times 10, and negative 5 times 6. Which two of these add together to give us 10? No factors. equal 10. Therefore, three little dots, oh, I'm sorry. The three little dots there mean therefore. This is prime. If you'll recall the number 3, what are the factors of 3? 1 times 3 only. 5, 1 times 5 only. 7, 1 times 7 only. 11, 19. Remember, prime means you can't break it down into anything other than 1 and the number itself. So this one's prime because you can't factor it. Okay? All right. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.